Hey guys, how are you? I am in my office at home right now, and I just wanted to go over a few of the spring bulbs that I'm going to be putting in the ground. It is pretty much the middle of November, but yesterday was 70, and today is probably 48. But that said, still have plenty of time to get the bulbs in the ground. They just need that freeze period over a very cold period over the winter. And I have plenty of time before that deep freeze happens, before the snow, before, all that. So as long as you can still dig in the soil, you're good as far as putting the bulbs in the ground. So I just want to go over the bulbs that I'm going to hopefully get in the ground today. So we're first going to start out with the bulbs from Brex. And these ones are tulip bulbs, and they're super big tulip bulbs. And when we get out there to plant, I'll show you the proper way to plant tulips if you're unclear, if you've never planted bulbs before. It's not tricky. You just need to know which is the top and which is the bottom. That's the most important part. So this first one I have 9 bulbs, and it's blue heron tulip. And blue is in the name, but they're actually a very beautiful purple, a dark purple, and they kind of get a little bit lighter at the tips, and then they've got that fringe on the ends, which makes them very delicate and unusual, and they're just absolutely gorgeous, which I'll probably be saying that a lot because you buy tulips and you buy bulbs for flowers that you absolutely love, so everything's going to be gorgeous, right? This next one is green light tulip, a white tulip, but it has stripes of a thick stripe of green. And all of these are zones well down, like in the 3s, extremely winter hardy, and from zone 3 to 8. So anyway, that's the light green tulip. The next one is the Bella Blush tulip. The Bella Blush, oh my goodness, if you hear banging, that's my son banging on the door. He likes to come in and wreak havoc in my office. It's difficult. Anyway, it's a pink color, almost salmon in color. It is stunning. Now, the other thing too that you have to think about is where you're going to place your tulips. A lot of people, place them in the front around the house, but sometimes it's nice to have some in your back gardens, a place where you're going to really love them and really enjoy them. And they all require full sun to part shade, but mostly full sun so that they can really develop to their full potential. Enchanted Evening Tulip Mixture. This is 15 bulbs. Enchanted Evening Tulip Mixture. And so as you can see from the picture, there's white ones, there's purple ones, there's white and purple ones. Solid purple with the fringe on the end, which I love so much. So yeah, 15 of those. It's gorgeous. That's going to be really beautiful in the front of my house. All right, so this next one is the Daffodil Super Sack, 25 of these. These are a white, almost star background with a peach interior, and it's a double bloom. So it has the outer star, and then inside is another bloom that pops through. I cannot wait until spring when these all bloom because they are just so beautiful. Yeah. So the drumstick allium, as they're called, they have these dinky little thin little stems, and you swear they're not strong enough to hold this this little bulb that's on the top, and it almost comes out like a creamy white, and then it ages out to this gorgeous purple. But they're just darling. They're just cute little things, and because they're little, you can tuck them in anywhere. Like if you have shrubs and trees and things, and you can tuck them in between or right in front, and it doesn't detract, and they're just the cutest little things. All right, these are these are the funkiest looking ones. These are called hair alliums. This is a crazy hair day hair allium, right? So it's got some color in the middle where the little fringe comes out from, but mostly it's like green and an off-white kind of crazy hair look at the top. And they also have really skinny little stems that doesn't look like they'd hold them up, but aren't they so crazy looking? I love them. I think they're hilarious, and I can't wait for them to grow. Cherry Blossom Hardy Gladiolus mixture. And they're just, you know, regular bulb looking. But the mixture is key, because there's a dark pink, there's a light pink, there's almost a white. It's a gorgeous mixture. And they're on the shorter side. You know how some gladiolas are really tall? These ones, 20 to 24 inches. So they're not like super like dwarf size, because they do have dwarf size ones, and I've grown them and they're really sweet, but they're not as tall as the tallest ones that they get. All right, so then the last one that I have from Brex is Byzanthus gladiolus. It is so beautiful. That bright pop of pink, almost a purple, is so stunning, and you get so many blooms on each stem. The height is 20 to 24 inches. From that picture, I mean, there are so many, and really skinny stems, just really, really gorgeous. It'll be beautiful in like a summertime floral arrangement. Just really stunning. Now we're gonna move on to Eden Brothers. And I have more gladiolas from them and some alliums. Now, Eden Brothers is typically where I get my dahlia tubers from, but they also sell so many other flowers. It's incredible. They do bulbs, and they do seed mixes and flower seeds, vegetable seeds, herb seeds, and they are just loaded. Hi, Jacob. This one is called Graceful. So this one is almost, instead of having one stem with the flower top, this one is more of a clump. They look almost like have like a grassy texture at the bottom, but then at the top, it's a white flower. And absolutely spectacular. This other one I have is Allium Saphir Salon. They're miniature mahogany blooms, perfect for fresh and dried bouquets. So it's the same as the one that I got from Brex. And their height, they get up to 18 inches tall. They prefer full sun, full to partial sun, and they bloom in early summer. They're reddish purple at the top. Okay, so next we're going to move on to double-flowered hellebores. Now, hellebores are planted in the fall, and this one is an Orientalis double form. It's a mixture of lavender, white, yellow, pink, green, or red. And what you do is you dig a hole large enough to accommodate the roots without bending them, and they get to a height of 12 to 15 inches. And they flower late winter to mid-spring. So this is one that you definitely want to get in the ground before, I have dirt everywhere, before the ground freezes, of course, but you want to get them in the ground in the fall only because otherwise you'll miss their bloom when they come up in the spring. So that is what I'm looking at getting in the ground today, and I'll bring you along for that. So I'm going to go get changed and I will meet you outside where we're going to get these into the ground, and I'll show you, hopefully I have the additive that I want to put in with it, and I'll show you how we get these in the ground. All right? All right, see you in a few. Okay, so I've changed my clothes, obviously, and I'm all bundled up for winter because it is quite a change from 70 degrees to I think 48. Anyway, so I'm glad I'm getting this done today, and then I'm going inside. But I wanted to just tell any of you who are new to planting bulbs about how to put them in the ground, all that stuff. So I'm going to show you the outside anatomy of a bulb. This is our blue heron tulip. Looks like this, right? The top, the pointy part, that is where your plant is going to grow out from. Underneath, it's kind of a flat part. This is where your roots are going to sprout from, okay? So when you plant it in the ground, you want it to go in like this, straight down, so that the roots go one way and the plant comes up the top, all right? So that is how you want to plant a tulip. Now, daffodil, it might be a little bit easier to discern the top from the bottom because, at least with these ones, there's the roots, hairy roots coming down, all right? This is the one that I cannot pronounce, but the only daffodil that I'm planting. And this one actually has 2 and even maybe a 3rd little head coming out there. So this is where the tulip is going to sprout out the top, okay? And obviously the roots go down to the bottom, and so you plant it down just like this. Now, the roots don't have to be, you don't have to have a huge hole where the roots aren't bent or anything. They're going to be bent, and that's fine because they're very thin hair-like roots. Just going to plop them in the ground, cover it over with soil. You're good to go. So that is the exterior anatomy of these bulbs. Now, I've got different places around where I'm going to be planting the bulbs for the tulips and the alliums. And so I'm just going to go around and get it done, and I'll show you where we ended up. In the front, I try and stick with pinks, purples, whites, some yellow, that kind of color palette. And then in other areas of the house, side gardens and the back gardens, I will do other color schemes. You know, there's usually always white, but you know, more of your brighter colors, reds, oranges. But in the front, I stick with not necessarily pastels, but pastel-y type color. That's just kind of what I do. It's just, they're happy colors, and it makes me happy when I drive up to the house and they're all in their glory. It's so pretty. Last year, I put in a lot of daffodils and more tulip because they come up really strong every year, at least in my experience. Not everyone has that experience, especially with tulips. Tulips can be a little finicky. Some may come up the next year, some may not. Right now, because I just planted them last year, I don't need to replace any, I hope. But that's the thing, you know, with these bulbs, is you don't know until spring when things start popping up. But typically, you know, there is an age life to them where they'll only last for so many years. But then by that time you can switch it out and get new ones in that producers and growers are producing new flowers and bulbs and blooms every year. So you're always going to see some that you love, maybe even more than the last ones you put in. So it's nice that these have a life cycle in some way so that you can refresh and do something different, which I love to switch it up, do something different. So you can go all out and you can get the biggest pack of bulbs that any grower has, but then we don't have unlimited space unless you're a flower farm or you're making a lot of your land into a flower farm. So want to get the most of what you love, but then have room for ones that maybe you've never tried. New ones, like I said, come out every year, and they seem even more spectacular than the year before. And so because these are perennials, you want to have room for them. So like I have 20 of those bulbs, but next year I might get 20 more because, wow, they were so spectacular, or I need to leave room for some other things that I want to grow. So, you just have to really think about it and think about your space and how much room you actually have for all these flowers. So that's a question I always have to remind myself of. Okay. Whew. They're all in, and they're all in their little homes. I've got some in here in this newer flower bed that we set up this year. And you just saw the blue, but really purple tulips go in there, and underneath this Russian sage, and right next to my hydrangea bush. Anyway, I hope you're having a great day, and thanks so much for joining me for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.